say a big giant thank you to Marcus Guyton for pulling the strings behind the scenes for everything that he does. I also want to say hello to you guys on YouTube once again. Thank you for waiting for us to go live. And hello to everybody on the podcast, all 65 of you. Thank you so much for listening.
65 platforms.
65 65 people, but 65 platforms doing it big.
Yeah.
So hello to you guys.
As long as we don't use the N-word.
We won't do that today. And to you guys on Facebook, the Ride or Die audience, the live audience, the other side of the conversation.
Yes.
On the Demetria K Show, it is the purpose to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all the things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people. And so we are going to talk about Mr. Andrew Gillum.
Who?
Who?
Who's Andrew Gillum?
We're going to talk about Andrew Gillum, and of course, we're going to continue the coronavirus conversation. As we know, we are in the midst of a pandemic, and there's new developments all the time, depending on what state you live in. Of course, we had new developments here, but we'll save that for the second part of the show. So anyway, I want to get started and talk about Mr. Andrew Gillum. So for those of you guys who don't know who he is, Andrew Gillum was the mayor of Tallahassee, Florida. Mm-hmm. He, in 2018, was running for the governorship of Florida. He lost.
Of course.
And so since then, he has started an initiative to register voters.
Kind of like Stacey Abrams.
Right. Sort of like Stacey Abrams. She has the Fair Chance or something like that initiative in regards to voter suppression. And so Andrew Gillum's... I forget the name, it slips my mind, but their purpose is to help defeat Donald Trump and the Republicans for the most part. I'm sure there's a little bit more to it, but on the surface, that's what it does. And so that's what he's been doing now. What he's also been doing, and that's why I call it the curious case of Andrew Gillum, because the other day, I think it was Friday, if I'm not mistaken, he was found in a hotel room with... a male escort. I'm trying to keep it clean.
Clutch my pearls. What? Mr. Family Man?
Yes.
Family value?
Yes. Okay. He was found in a hotel room with a gay male escort, I guess, I'm just trying to, give y'all all the details.
Unbelievable. What a surprise.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not, actually.
I mean, not just because of him, but it's like...
No, I'm not.
Because it was not too long ago, we heard of a Republican senator somewhere who was anti-gay LGBTQ stuff.
Come to find out.
Yeah, he comes out of the closet. So anyway, Andrew Gillum was found in a hotel room with a gay male escort. The escort is also a porn star, and these are his words. It was on his profile. Now, it was a third party, a third friend who actually the room was in his name. He showed up at 11 o'clock at night and found I can't forget his name, the gay male escort, and Andrew Gillum kind of out of it, if you will. So the escort opened the door, and then he said shortly after he opens the door, he passes out, and so the guy who shows up, the third party, calls the ambulance and the police, and then Andrew Gillum was in the bathroom throwing up. So, no arrest or anything like that. Was that a gunshot? They after us?
No,
okay.
Not yet.
No arrest or anything like that was made. But Andrew Gillum says that he was not doing, and it was meth is what it was. They found bags of methamphetamine. And so he was saying, I don't do drugs. I wasn't under influence. I had too much to drink. I was actually in town for a friend's wedding. Now the male escort was like, "Well, I didn't know about any wedding. He never mentioned to me anything about a wedding."
Okay.
And so this particular guy, as you guys can ascertain, gets paid to, because they call them escorts, but we know they have to legally call it escorting.
Right.
They can't just say I'm out here, but hoeing for money.
Which they should say, because that's more truthful.
Well, because it's illegal.
Yeah.
It's illegal to say I'm out here.
Which is very hypocritical. You could, if you do it on camera, it's legal. You do it off camera, it's illegal. It's very hypocritical in America. It's crazy.
So Mr. Gillum is now asking for privacy and he's going to spend a couple of weeks with his family. I'm sure, and I should also say, and I'm going to get to you guys' comments, I should also say that he, being Andrew Gillum, is married with 3 children. He's been married since 2009.
Yeah, I got a question when you get done about this.
Yeah, and so the other part that I want to tack on to this, if you will, because I don't want to just be like, hey, let me tell y'all, sips my tea, and today I got plenty of tea, y'all. Yeah. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is, so I don't believe that anybody is without fault. I don't believe there's a perfect person walking planet Earth. I think everybody has something they wouldn't want anybody to know, whether how big or small it is. But when we come to somebody like leadership, what you got in your pocket, man? What's in your pocket?
No, you said big or small. I wanted to.
Or small.
Exactly.
Anyway.
I like to underwhelm.
I just what I want to know is this from you guys. Why is it that when we hear things, especially like some of our black leaders, because I've seen a lot of us defend him or say, oh, we shouldn't be judging him. And like I posted about it, I wasn't judging him. No. I wasn't passing judgment. I was just like, hey.
But you can have an opinion.
What's really going on here? Mm-hmm. That was my thing. I wasn't saying, ooh, he's going to hell. Ooh, he's a bad person. But I also made a comment saying, well, wow. And again, I'm going to say this because I got to clarify this for y'all. I do not support Donald Trump at all. But what I did say was, had it been Donald Trump, oh my God.
Yes. Absolutely.
It would have been, ooh, he this, he that, he this, the devil, and this, that, he this. But when it came down to somebody, and listen, I don't know a whole lot about Andrew Gillum, so I'll concede that point, because I've heard a lot of people say he's done a lot of good things. So
has Corrine Brown.
You know what?
They're both from Florida.
I'm looking. So I don't want to say he hasn't done any good things. I'm not saying he hasn't. But to me, it's funny that, we just don't want to cast no judgment and just that and the other. It's like, at some point in time, we got to be able to hold people accountable, right? I'm not saying he should never be able to run for office or he shouldn't be elected, because it sounds like he was being vetted to be a cabinet member. And it's funny because at first he was a Bernie Sanders supporter, but I guess Bernie Sanders recently said something. I can't remember what it was. Yeah. I can't remember exactly what it was, but so he admonished Bernie Sanders and said, oh, well, he shouldn't have said that. And so basically, he's going to have to rethink his endorsement.
No, he got the call from the DNC. Exactly. And they said, hey, if you want to be anything and have a future in this party, this is what you better do.
It sounds like he kind of started throwing Bernie Sanders under the bus a little bit, from what I read. Now, y'all want to know my opinion before I get you guys' comments? Y'all want to know what my opinion is?
What is your opinion?
My opinion is this. I believe that Andrew Gillum was set up. Now, wait. I don't mean that they drug him or, dragged him rather into the hotel room and said, here, sit here and shove these, meth, whatever.
Hot dogs.
I don't know how you do.
Shove these hot dogs. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know how you even do meth. So I don't know. If and my niece may be watching on YouTube, so you watch with the hot dogs and stuff. Hey, baby.
Right.
But I do believe that he was set up and that they knew what his vices were. Perhaps me and Donovan was joking about this earlier. You guys ever seen the Tom and Jerry meme where Tom is the cat where he's calling? He's going to call the police.
As a matter of fact, that is my thing on Facebook. Okay. Remember, an Inland Empire and Farmer. That's my thing.
I think somebody tipped him off. Maybe it was a third friend. Somebody tipped him off and says, hey, Andrew Gillum is in the hotel room with a gay prostitute, for lack of better words. And right now they're doing meth.
Right. Or there's drugs available.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like nobody did any testing or anything like that. That's what I think. I think for whatever reason, because again, because I kind of want those people kind of put 2 and 2 together slowly but surely. Sure. We had this initiative to try to register as many voters to beat Trump, and
especially with a lot of the former convicts getting their rights back.
That and there's a lot of the voter suppression. It's a fact. Voter suppression is going on. Maybe I'm being a conspiracy theorist here. Maybe it was a ploy to stop him.
Right, absolutely. Let me jump in here real quick.
Go ahead, and I'm going to get to you
now,
guys' comments.
I just have a question for a lot of people out there. You know, because I'm still speculating on it.
Okay. We all are.
I have never been to a wedding with my wife, and she's not in my presence at all times.
That's what a lot of people have been saying.
Okay,
And normally a married man goes to a wedding
with your spouse and your family.
Yes.
And I never have gone to a place where my wife or my kids aren't in tow with me at an event that we're there to celebrate our friends
and
get together.
If the other thing, we're just putting two and two together here. If you're at a wedding and you're with two buddies, wouldn't they know that you're going to a wedding? Because the friends are like,
right,
we didn't know he was going to no wedding.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that I have to say, in Mr. Gillum's defense, the way that the press is spinning it, just because there's drugs in the room doesn't necessarily mean he knew that there were drugs in the room. It's almost like if you're in a car and your friend gets pulled over in the passenger and he might have some marijuana in him and, you're just riding with your friend. Now there's a marijuana bust. You didn't know. So I'm just saying, I'm speculating again, giving him the benefit of the doubt as in regards to the meth. He did not might not have known that the meth was in it. Because just because it's on the floor doesn't mean it's his. As a prosecutor, that would be a hard case to prove. If nobody's owning up to it.
Unless the male prostitute says, yes, I gave it to him.
Right, but then the ownership of the drug is the male prostitute.
Okay, but is taking meth legal?
It is.
How?
In your own home, yeah. Sudafed is meth. Sudafed is meth.
I'm talking about the kind that they boil up in the hills.
The one up there in
Banning and Beaumont. I'm talking about and the hills have eyes type of. Is meth legal?
Yes, in your own home,
no,
it is
not,
legal.
Damn
it is legal.
Doing methamphetamine
is illegal.
Drugs is illegal. Okay. It's illegal. So regardless if they find it on the floor or whatever, if he was doing the drugs, it's illegal.
Right. But I'm just saying in regards to how they spent it in the news, they make it seem like he was taking the drugs and that isn't proven.
Listen, and before I get to you guys a comment, this is what I think too. I think, and me and Donovan was talking about this earlier.
Donovan and
I think that we think that he didn't get arrested because maybe they said to him, we got the goods.
And we've got the pictures.
Now we need you to,
and we've got the video and the pictures.
We got the video. Right. Now we need you to play ball. We need you to lay low. Otherwise, we're going to have this male prostitute get on there with TMZ and all these other people and say, let me tell you what happened. And then I told them to stop.
Well, hark back about 25 years ago. What happened to Eddie Murphy? Picked up that transvestite. I was just giving the lady a ride. And look how his career kind of careened at that point.
Right. So, hello, y'all. How y'all doing? Hey, Nancy. Hello, Donna.
Hey, Nancy.
Hey, Charles. And you say, I saw that Andrew Gillum story, and he was lucky that the coronavirus is absorbing the entire news cycle, or this acts of indiscretion, drugs, and closet homosexual socializing on the low would have been a huge portion of the news cycle. Yes. Well, here's the thing also,
Charles.
If you don't do some dirt, do it now.
Yeah, well, here's the thing too, Charles. With, the Google and internet, even if you ran for something, the opposition is going to pull that up and it's going to come up. Because what's the first picture you saw when you pulled it up on your thing?
When I pulled it up on to look for it as a news story, it was a shirtless picture of the dude, the male escort, all, buffed out. And he's got a lot of pretty, there's no question.
He's an attractive guy.
No, I don't find him attractive. Okay. But it's no question the dude is
alternative lifestyle.
He's part of the alternative lifestyle.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I think it's a matter of time before. I think Andrew Gillum is now going to play ball.
Right now, Andrew Gillum is saying that he knew this guy, or
he said they were friends.
Okay, yeah, that's right. They had known each other less than a year or something like that.
No, it wasn't even that long. It sounded like they met recently.
Okay, gotcha.
And yes, Charles, it was methamphetamines. Hey, Ray, what's happening? He says, laugh out loud. Whatever he did, he picked the right time to do it. Ain't nobody paying attention. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to, like I say, you're going to do something, do it right now. Yeah. While everybody's freaking out over the coronavirus.
But what do you say to your wife? What do you say?
The other part of this now I sound like Wendy Williams with some damn body.
Mm-hmm. Drop the T, girl.
I think maybe his wife knew, because this is not the first.
Yeah, politicians and what's that guy named?
Well, with him though, this is not the first round of allegations with Andrew Gillum of him, being homosexual, if you will. Of course, people are going to say all kind of stuff, but this is kind of a little too close to home,
Well, those urges are strong. Sometimes those urges will get you in trouble. I mean, if you're trying to hide it. I mean, you got to be who you are.
I just feel like you should just be who you are, right? If that's who you are, just own it. Because if you're a high-profile figure such as he is, and it's also, I guess he's a correspondent on CNN or something like that,
yeah, he's a contributing.
Yeah, so he has a lot of things that he's doing, but... Okay, and Donnie said that's going to be an interesting conversation with his wife. Yeah. I tend to think maybe she knew. How do you not know? I mean, I don't like to speculate on people's mannerisms. Yeah. I've seen some things. I was like, maybe he is. You know?
Well, the funny thing is, and it just seems to bother me how women let's say this guy's a known gay guy. He's known. And the women would be like, well, I can change him. It's like even to take that stance.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not against gay people. I'm against bisexual, these people who don't want to make a decision because that's where all the diseases are coming from.
The down low lifestyle.
Yeah, the down low lifestyle. So if you're on this side of the fence, stay on that side of the fence. Make a decision.
Right. Brother, I'm with you.
Okay.
What's happening? He says, I don't care for Andrew, not because he does drugs or if he is gay. He is a Negro peon. A self-proclaimed capitalist, much to do about nothing, not even worth conversation. Yeah,
wow.
and I'm with you on that. I don't care what his lifestyle is. Right. I'm more interested in us not really wanting to hold certain people in our community accountable. Mm-hmm. Hey Jonelle, what's going on with you? And Charles says they smoke it in a glass pipe. Oh. See, and listen, I've never done any type of drugs, narcotics, any of that kind of stuff. So I'm like as green as anything right now in regards to drugs.
Well, it seems like he wasn't smoking in. Never mind. Go ahead. They didn't find any pipe paraphernalia. From what I've read.
Hey, Terry. He said his life and career are over, and I'd be surprised if he recovers from his drugs. Well, this is kind of what I think. I don't think it's over. And you got somebody's doing the line now, but I don't think his...
Which doesn't make sense when it's going to be raining again.
Yeah, it's like raining right now, so whatever, floats your boat. But I don't think his career is going to be over simply because, he's a Democrat, and those are the agendas that they promote, the LGBTQ type of stuff. And, I think, in fact, if he does come out of the closet, I think he'll be held as a hero.
Yes, of the LGBT community.
Even though, he's got a wife and kids.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wait, shameless plug.
Hey, Sydney.
Shameless plug.
Evolve! To win, you gotta lose fear.
That's it. By Terry V. Beard. Go to the website. The website is evolve.com. Evolvegear.com.
And Jonelle says, it's like Marion Barry to a degree, being caught in a similar fashion, minus the male on male. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. My thing is, it's like all of a sudden, you're doing your thing, whatever that thing is, and, they OD'd. So it wasn't like the police showed up. I think maybe, I don't know, I think it's weird. I think it's weird.
Politics make strange bedfellows.
But maybe they got a hold of a bad batch or something, right. and...
But, okay, you're down there with your wife to attend a wedding.
He wasn't with his wife.
I know. Where is your wife during this time?
Maybe she had the coronavirus. And she was self-quarantined at the house.
There's a picture of Andrew Gillum a couple years ago, and his wife was pregnant. And he's like, very beautiful picture. Mm-hmm. And you look at that and you're just saying, you're going to throw all of that away?
Listen, there's a lot of men, and women too,
True.
But throw away good people over the bull caca.
Yeah.
And Adana says, many men in politics get married because they need a beard to progress. Look at Charlie Chris, Florida governor.
Right.
Former, wasn't he the one?
Yeah, he's the one.
It's a few of them, but you're right. It looks better on paper, I guess, and to the public if you have a wife. And this is going to sound really silly coming from me, but you notice like a lot of politicians, men especially, they're really handsome and everything. But then they got this wife who's kind of like,
Yeah, she looks like Tracy, like just real kind of rough, feminine, but like plain Jane-ish.
Yeah, so that does kind of make you wonder.
She's not Becky, she's Tracy. So.
It makes you kind of wonder, but that's silly anyway.
But no, but that's a good point, Donna, because even in the military career, when like for me being an officer, they want you to, by the time you become a captain, They want you to be married. And use that example for your troops and stuff like that. And it does check a box for promotion.
An intact household to be the example, right? Hey, Richard, what's happening?
And I wasn't married at the time.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I know you better quit lying. You was married 2 times.
Right, but at the time, for promotion-wise, you didn't.
Right. You was out there home, living your best life.
And most black female officers are already married, so it was really hard for me unless I wanted to sell out, which I wasn't going to do.
Richard says the whole point was that somebody OD'd. That is why cops were called. True.
Yeah.
I never saw it as a Gillum was doing meth. The police report said inebriated. Well, I mean, I guess, maybe we'll never know. It doesn't sound like any test or anything like that was done. I think that had that been anybody else in the room with meth, I think they probably would have gotten arrested, But I think Andrew Gillum is, he has a little bit of privilege, and so he wasn't arrested. Because somebody asked the police, why wasn't there any arrest? And they said, well, we don't always have to arrest people
unless you're politically connected.
Yeah, I mean, so inebriated can mean a whole lot of things.
But here's my question for you, though.
But you're right. That is why they were called, because the friends showed up at 11 at night and saw that they were both in distress, if you will.
Right. Let me ask you this question, though.
Sure.
How do you think this is going to affect his standing in the black community, Democratic black community?
It won't.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it should. I mean, like I said, people make mistakes. People do things. I'm not one of those people. It depends on what you did now. I'm not one of those people think you should just nail people to the cross and they're just done forever. I think people can be redeemed, And so, was he even doing anything wrong? It could have really just been his friend. Really could have just been his friend.
But what if he got caught with a hooker in the room?
Now, that's when the story would have been different,
Right.
Cindy says, hey, fam, can't get caught with a gay man in a hotel room. Luckily, he wasn't dead.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, because, it sounds like Andrew was having his own issues, and the male prostitute, forgive me, I don't know his name, which is why I'm likening him to that. Well, that's what he says he is. I mean,
male porn star.
And he's a porn star. What if the friend, the third party didn't show up? It could have been a homicide, not even a homicide, but, an accidental death or whatever. And then he'd have more questions to answer to. Now, Andrew did apologize to the people of Florida, saying, I'm sorry. I'm paraphrasing that, I never should have been in that situation or whatever. He's
human like everybody else.
Yeah, he is. People make mistakes. It happens, And Donnie says she knew. I think the wife knows as well. If in fact he is homosexual.
Trapped in the closet.
Part 55. And Charles says, amp up the R. Kelly trapped in the closet or trapped. Hey, OG, what's happening? He says, do you think the coronavirus is going to help Trump get reelected?
No.
I think a lot of people are seeing that he dropped the ball.
Yeah, the government has to lead on something like this. They knew that this coronavirus broke out in China back in November. That should have been the wake-up call for the government to do what they got to do. Trump administration cut 80% of the CDC budget, which these are the people that sit there and they constantly find antiviruses and things to do this. And he's not leading even now. The governors are leading. So in regards to him being reelected, is this going to help him? No. But is he going to be reelected? Yes. But it ain't going to be, because of this, it's going to stop him.
I think he's going to be reelected if they put Biden on the ticket.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. If they go with Biden, that's Hillary Clinton 2.0.
Right.
We're done.
And Jonelle says, vote straight. And Donna says, the agreement has always been discreet. His wife may be pissed that he was careless. Yeah, I agree with you on that. A lot of wives in that situation, if that is a situation, they do know. Just don't put me in a situation to where I'm now having to answer for your behavior.
But as a woman, though, would I want to sleep with my husband knowing that he's sleeping with strange men?
Hey, you know what, though? What is it? Having a piece of man is better than having no man at all.
With all these men out here, these women act like there's no other men to go.
Okay, this is where we're going to take a sidebar here. Okay. We're going to take a sidebar.
All right.
Because I've been wanting to talk about relationships for a while because people ask me to talk about it. I want to take a sidebar. You said with all these men out here. And I'm not talking about none of y'all. Okay?
Okay.
Because I ain't talking about none of y'all. But you're saying with all these men out here, what you didn't say was...
All this G.
With all these good men out here.
Right. Okay.
So I'm saying, there's a lot of women, and I'm not saying it's right, that they settle for a piece of a man rather than a whole man, because there's a lot of men out there, not y'all, a lot of men out there who ain't on the straight and narrow. A lot of men on that bullshit.
Okay.
So there's a lot of women that's like, I've talked to some women who say, well, I'm going to stay with him because I know what I'm getting with him. If I get with somebody else, I have to start over. So maybe there's not a lot of quality men out there.
Okay. I'll agree with that.
Yeah?
I'll agree with
that. We'll get back to that. And Charles just says, we know Obama will thank him if he comes out of the closet. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he will be hailed as a hero if he does it. Even though, he's got this, like I said, wife and kids who's just like, sorry, this is who I am now. Yeah. And Cindy says, nope, I live in the state of New Jersey. The governor, McGreevey, he never recovered. He was one that got caught up too, right?
Yeah, and I remember when he announced the horror on his wife's face. She did not even know.
I honestly think there's more to the story, but I have to agree with Donovan that I think it was more like, okay, we got the goods, now we need you to play ball. Mm-hmm. All this voter registration stuff you got going on, we're going to need you. Because watch, this is going to be the telltale moment here is if you don't see him talking about that as much.
But here's a caveat. You would think that it would be the Republicans that would have blackmailed him. I almost guarantee you it's a Democratic Party.
You'll never know. You know what I mean? The only thing you will know
to control him
is what he was doing that night.
Exactly.
Because the escort is already like, wait a minute, that's not what I was told. Yeah, that's not what he told me. I didn't know about no wedding, so it's like, wait a minute.
It kind of reminds me of you guys remember the movie Trading Places? Eddie Murphy. Remember when they were trying to blackmail Dan Aykroyd and they got Jamie Lee Curtis to come in and she's like, oh baby, classic stuff, those men wanted to have sex with me.
Hey, Eric. And Cindy says, so our boy Donovan was a hoe after 2 marriage. In between, after, before, he was...
No, wait. And that's the worst word to use. I was just very popular at that time. At that time, I was very popular. I'm just... very popular.
Is that what we call them now, popular?
I was very popular. Young pilot, got myself together. I'm traveling the world. I'm in this Top Gun flight suit. Hey. And the sad thing is, sisters wouldn't give me the time of day. But everybody else did, but I don't. I stuck with my sisters. So.
Jonelle says, this nation has never stopped being Rome. It's Babylon. It's just reflective of the whole White House lifestyle. Most of them closet is beyond coronavirus. This is the unraveling, of America, and God is pulling all strings. Yes, he's pulling the strings on a lot of stuff, right? And the curtain back, if you will. And Charles says, Trump has investments in the testing and immunization stock. Yeah, because now it sounds like Canada, I think it was, found a cure or a vaccine rather for the coronavirus. And I'm like, I believe they've had it all along, but maybe they didn't think it was going to go as far as it did. Interrupting or damn near dilapidating the stock market. So now all of a sudden, hey, we found a vaccine, but the question is how many of you guys are going to line up to get it?
Right.
And you also say, heck no, with Vote Blue. And we all know that Charles is a big-time Bernie supporter. Are you a part of the Bernie Bros?
No, not at all. We don't support, well, at least I can't speak for Dimitri. We don't support Bernie because he is not for reparations for black people, but he is for reparations of his people.
Yeah, because the Bernie Bros, their premise is, because I read the article yesterday, and they're basically saying we're not going to we're not going to get screwed again. You guys stole
Screwed
the
us
election or
2016, and we wouldn't be in the position we're in now.
And that's what they're saying. So they're saying if you guys are going to shove, because they're saying no way are we voting for Joe Biden. So
and
if
he
you're
lost.
Shove
He's
Joe
done.
Biden down our throats. We would rather have another 4 years of Trump than to vote for Joe Biden. They says they're not going to vote for Joe Biden. And I posted the article saying, well, isn't that funny? Because now between the Bernie bros and black people who are saying, I'm not voting for the lesser two evils, the Democrats are there. They're going to be in quite a bit more trouble than they think they are.
Right. I mean, they better start getting their shit together and start addressing a black agenda. If you're going to address DACA, you're going to address Dreamers, you're going to address the LGBTQ, whatever, you need to have a black agenda. We are giving 73% of our vote went to Joe Biden. And what did we get for it? The first thing he said is, I'm going to do for this person, people, these people, nothing about black people. The people who got him over the hump, he is not doing anything for. So we're done.
And James says, Gillum is a prime example of how gayness is hijacked blackness when it comes to our representation, especially in D.C. The dude appears, quote unquote, to have a wife, family, but throws all of that away to play backgammon. I mean, like I said, even if he is, homosexual, okay, great,
own it.
But just, own it. Because now you have a bigger conversation, of course, especially with black women. At one point in time, I don't know if it's still true, it might be. Black women are leading the pack, if you will, of new HIV and AIDS cases.
STDs in general.
Well, HIV especially. Yeah. And they said a lot of that is due to men
down low.
Say, not owning the fact that they're gay, whatever,
coming out of prison, I'm only gay when I'm in jail, that kind of stuff too.
However they're coming about it, they're not owning it, and they're in these full-fledged relationships with women who may not know. There's a lot of women who don't know, and they're exposing them to a lot of things, and so
it's very sad.
That to me is, if indeed that's what he was doing, to me that's the bigger part of the conversation. Is that we already have enough of our black women, especially suffering from things that they didn't ask for.
Right. Single motherness and stuff like that.
Right.
But especially for Andrea Gillum, what's the one thing that Demetra always says when she's going to take on a client that's in the political realm?
Is there anything about you I should know that before we get started that will come out that you wouldn't want anybody to know or somebody going to find out?
Right.
Now, I tend to think, like, if this is Andrew's situation, I think a lot of people knew. But I think there's more to the story.
Right. But the point is,
now it's a trump card for whoever is.
But in politics, if you want to immune yourself from these kind of attacks, you come out and you own it and you say, yeah, this is me, this is what I've done, and you get ahead of the story.
Yeah, do you? But like I said, that's the bigger conversation is that, his wife, perhaps.
And his wife is very attractive.
Maybe she does know. I don't know.
She's an attractive girl.
If that is, she could be Beyonce. Okay, Beyonce.
I don't think Beyonce's attractive. Maybe it's just me. I just don't think she's attractive.
You about the last one on the planet who does.
I don't think she's that attractive. She's okay.
If Beyonce could be cheated on.
Yeah.
That's what they say anyway, right? Let's see. And Donnie says his wife was looking for status, not a good whole man. And I was actually talking to Al about that yesterday. A lot of first ladies of the church, a lot of them know that their men, the pastors, are riding dirty. But they, to your point, are more interested in the title, the clout of saying, I'm, Mrs. First Lady. And so they overlook their husband's transgressions for the title, if you will.
What's wrong with you, brother? Nothing seems wrong with you as you walking into this church. They think my mind is weary and my head is heavy. What movie is that from?
I have no idea.
Which way is up? Sit down, nigga, before I put this glove on your ass.
Ooh, you said
Quoting a movie.
Got it. And Jonelle says, right, women know their man best. None knows a man better than his woman, especially when they're, you said dough, when they're dough? So anyway.
When in doubt.
When they're, okay. So anyway, see, Donovan can read between the lines when I can't. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100% that a woman knows her man, right? And so I'll save that for another conversation.
Oh, goodness.
I'll save that for a conversation. But I agree with you.
Yes.
I agree with you 100%. And Eric says, I'm hoping and praying that he ain't on that. I mean, if he is, maybe he will get help. You know, I'm speaking of.
It's a terrible drug. That's a terrible drug.
Meth, they say, is one of the hardest drugs to get to kick.
Yeah, my disclaimer: I have my brother's ex-wife. She has been on meth for years, and this woman is a couple months older than me. She looks like she's 80 years old.
Yeah, I thought that was when you showed the picture. I thought she was a grandma. I didn't know that was. Damn, that's what meth be doing to people.
Tearing them up in their face. I mean, just aging them excessively because meth is a speed, you know. So.
Oh. I was like, you sure that ain't the grandmama?
When I walked in, I thought it was her, because I met her mother before, but her mother's small and frumpy. And, you know, but she is. She's like a small, short little thing. She don't watch
the show, do she?
No.
Oh.
Come on. Look, they're in Banning. Okay? But, you know, Andrea's, you know, lanky. And I looked and I was like, Andrea? You know, I was just shocked.
So meth is a hell of a drug.
It's a hell of a drug.
Okay.
In the words of Rick James.
And then you also say that I hope Andrew ain't on none of that BS. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. It's,
and you wish well for anybody who's in a situation that's bad. You don't wish bad on anybody. And see, regarding what's happening, it says, good man, the term is subjective. Mm-hmm. Adults are free to choose their mates. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, just choose. Don't take people through the bull with you. Because a lot of times people they're honest with you. You get in a relationship, hey, you know, I've been through a lot. I appreciate it. If you don't take me through some more stuff, nah, you know, I ain't gonna never do that.
Yeah, I mean, you're all I want, baby.
And then all of a sudden, you're getting dragged through the shit. Right. You know?
Right.
Anyway.
You seem very, very emotional about that issue. Have you? No, never mind.
Charles says if the CIA or FBI was involved, then I agree with you, D, on this, on his career. Yeah, I mean, who knows? You know, maybe it was just one of those things, a fluke. Somebody took a little bit too much or something, and they got in trouble physically, and then they needed to be rescued. It could really just be that, right?
See, this is what I'm saying. Knowing how the political game is played and how, for us as black people, knowing that they were at the bottom and, you know, and how everything is rigged against us, these Jim Clyburns and all these people, they jump into the game and they expect to be exceptional. When the thing is, when the shit hits the fan, Hillary Clinton was caping for Corrine Brown. When Corrine Brown and Sheila Lee and all of them, they all hung out together at the thing. When this woman, this is the funny thing. I'm defending Corrine Brown. This shows you how bullshit the game is. Yeah. No, I am. No, seriously. Because when she was getting sentenced, not one of those people showed up as a reference. Sheila Lee sent a letter. And this woman got 5 years after all the dirt and bullshit she did for the Democratic Party. And this is how they treat us.
I just have to wonder if the butter biscuits were worth it.
Exactly. At the end of the day. Once they use you and abuse you, you're done.
Right. And Reginald says his kids might have to go to counseling. They will be teased and harassed. Yeah. And I think that's the other part that people don't think about when they're not being honest. The other people who are attached to you. Yeah, that are affected by it. Who will have to hear about those things because, you know, unfortunately, we live in a society to where even if there's a small implication of something, you might as well be guilty of doing it, and everybody
you're guilty until you prove your innocence.
Right, and everybody is not as understanding, or you know, will say, "Hey, if that's what you do, that's what you do." You know, whatever floats your boat. There's a lot of people who will nail you to the cross. You know,
sad.
And Donnie says Gary Siplin started that voter initiative when I lived in Florida, and he ended up catching a felony case. See. I think there's more to the story. You know, there's somebody who is not wanting, I'm imagining, wanting them to do that, since we know that voter suppression, especially in the South, is huge. It's huge. So there's something going on there, I would say. And Cindy says, McGreevy wife knew, both wives knew, we knew, the Republican Party knew. I had Republican friends who had pictures of McGreevy and his boyfriend.
Yeah, they were saying like George Bush and Skull and Bones, which John Kerry's a part of, and a lot of these political people are a part of.
A lot of homosexual activity.
There's a lot of homosexual activity that is involved in that.
Right.
So.
And Charles, you say The coronavirus is a gift for Bernie Sanders if he would stop with all the goddamn Joe Biden is a good friend of mine and show America that Biden and Trump agree on the same corporate interests and policies because they are both are owned by the oligarchs. And that's what we were saying to you a couple months back, Charles, especially in regards to Bernie. I mean, a lot of people say he should have just stayed an independent, but, to a lot of other people's point, including Donovan's, they don't want a third party to rise. But I agree with you. Stop trying to be good buddy old pals with people. Yeah. Just call it what it is. I mean, Joe Biden, didn't he say some bad things about Bernie?
Sure did.
But yeah, Bernie is trying to be the good guy.
The sad thing is people don't realize that Joe Biden is he's not far right, but he's farther right than the basic Democratic agenda. Right, he's a Dixiecrat.
He's a Dixiecrat.
So if you look at some of his policies, it does line up with the Republican agenda.
Right.
Now, here's another thing that they were talking about, too, in regards to a Biden administration. He's going to bring back a lot of Obama's people. So a lot of the Wall Street cats are going to try to line up and get back there.
And I want to know how many African countries are going to be bombed.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. That whole, it's so sad. But here's the thing about the third party, okay? Whenever a third party tries to rise, both the Democrat and the Republican Party fight to knock it out.
Yep.
That's why Bernie has to take a side. There's no other way that you're going to get any kind of traction as a third party. The news media won't even cover you.
Right. And that's just the truth.
We got the Green Party. That's a third party thing. Yeah, exactly. The Libertarian Party.
Who?
Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And both of those parties are on opposite sides.
The rent is too damn high party.
Right. They won't cover it. So you have to run in one of the two major parties just to get your message out. And let's think about this. 4 years ago, was anybody talking about universal health care? Nobody was.
You mean before Obama?
Well, Bernie's been championing it for a while, but when he brought it, to the fold, it was like, this is what we need. And
now everybody's trying to.
And then right now, what are the major networks talking about? And I was telling Dimitri this the other day. It's the funniest thing. Now that this coronavirus is out, and everybody's, oh my God, pandemic. If you had universal health care, you can go to the doctor and get checked out, and so that kind of covers.
But now they're talking about that now.
Yeah, now they're talking about your employer mandating you to get.
But I'm saying with this coronavirus, you don't need any health coverage to go get checked out.
Right. But see, why does it take a government mandate?
Well, because it's affecting them now.
Right.
They need to get a handle on this mess.
But that's what Bernie's been saying. If you have certain things that is universal, it should just be without question.
Right. No, you're right. Agreed.
Now you got to tell people to stay away from work, but look. I got a mortgage payment to make. I got the coronavirus, but I got kids I got to feed.
Right.
I got to go to work.
Right.
I'm not covered. But if I had all those things, which is socialism, everybody.
Right.
Now here we are, pandemic. So what were you guys expecting at this point?
And Jonelle says they're saying the coronavirus is linked to the 5G. I've heard something about that. And the frequency from the satellite, its effects on the body, like how the military silent sound weapon operates on crowds. Radiation also saying that how many was affected via the cruise ships. My daughter just got back from a cruise. She said when they got on, before they got on, they were, testing them and making sure they were okay. If people had fevers or any issues like that, they couldn't get on. And so she said they did as much as they could to make sure.
Sure.
But now we know a lot of cruises are shut down as well.
Everybody talk about martial law right now, right? Think about this. We put this thing out here. Instead of having the troops come in and quarantine you guys and get you guys off the streets, you're doing it yourselves.
Right. And Lance says, did I make a comment?
That's my buddy Lance from high school.
What's happening, Lance?
Happening.
He says, saying if you have that much power, you did something wrong along the line to obtain that power. Mm-hmm. What they could say, dancing with the devil, making a deal with the devil. I would buy that.
You're going to have to pay sooner. There's a movie, it started Dudley Moore in the 60s, and it was redone in 1999 called Bedazzled. You ever see that with Brandon Fraser? And,
a long time ago? Yeah.
I mean, excellent movie where, he had like these wishes and he would wish, the wish wouldn't come out right because he made a deal with the devil and then it was time to pay.
Right.
And the devil came to collect.
Right. And Charles, you say Beyonce ass is... Beyonce ass is awesome, but her devil worshipping makes her very unattractive. Yo, come on now.
Hey,
y'all talking about some Beyonce worship.
The Illuminati. You never know.
I just tend to. I don't know about that, y'all. I'm kind of like, you know, because like, what devil is she worshiping? Is it the devil under the ground, or is it the devil on the top of the ground? You know.
Good point. Good point.
And Jonelle says, I mean, especially when the man is soft, women can tell their man is it's sugary. I think so too. Mm-hmm. I think for a lot of women, it's just like, well, you know, he's the best I got. You know, out there, at least I know he's not gonna be with any other women. He's just gonna be with, I don't know.